just reaching for a piece of you.
Hey guys, welcome to Killer Drums TV. My name is Tony Moore, and we are filming today at Mooloolaba Music in Queensland, Australia, for those watching overseas. Speaking of those watching overseas, we've had some great comments on the channel lately. Thank you for all your engagement. For those who haven't yet, like, subscribe, and share it with some friends. Speaking of loving drums, we're here today to check out A&F, made in Texas, Austin, Texas. These are fantastic drums, actually. Now, if you've been around drums for quite some time, you'll notice that there's vintage drums and there's more modern drums. And these are modern drums, but they're made with an old school, old world charm. The story roughly goes, Rami Atun, who is the A there, the F stands for family. That's the people who play them, make them, and just love the drums. But Rami is a vintage drum guy, and he had a favorite snare that he was trying to replicate into a modern form. And so he spent quite some time trying to build one. He finally got it nailed, and he ended up making two of those, I believe. This goes way back in 2015, I think. Using brass and the old school methods, the old way that drum makers used to make drums, which was all in-house. In-house basically means all of these things are made in the factory or in the shop. They're not sort of bought in from around the world and sort of assembled. They're actually drum makers. And I love that because I'm actually a drum maker too. I like to make all this stuff by hand. And so these are beautiful handcrafted drums. Each one is slightly individual and unique. And I love it because the different finishes that you have on these drums really speak to kind of an heirloom kind of a drum, something special, something that only you might have. So we've got 4 drum sets here today, and we decided that we'd set them all up, we'd play all 4 of them, and discuss some of the elements about them that make them different and unique. So what do I have today? First one I'm sitting behind here is actually quite a unique one. It's actually single tension. Now, for those who don't know what single tension is, let me drop this one down here. Gently. Heirlooms. Single tension is where there's no lug in the middle of the shell. Over here, you'll see on this beautiful antique red, we've got a lug in the center of the shell. Now, what that does is that locates the top and bottom tension, so you have dual tension. That's tightening between the tops and the bottoms. You can tension the bottom head different to the top. This is single tension. It's literally a shell between 2 hoops and 2 heads, bridged through this system here. A fantastic way of making drums. They can be a little bit fiddly, I'll be honest. I've got a few of these kinds of kits at home. Mine go back to the 1930s, I believe. When you actually undo these lugs, everything falls apart. These things all fall off, everything falls apart. So it's the kind of drum set that people who love the tone that these drums make will actually fall in love with straight away. Now, this particular kit is copper. It's all copper shell with their patented, patinaed or natural patina. Now, I mean, as I'm touching that, I'm actually putting more on there. So this is truly custom because it's got my fingerprints on it. Sorry, Mooloolaba Music. Now, if you want the purest note or the purest tone of a drum, single tension is what you're after. In the bass drum, for example, it's a very low tone. What's happening when I strike the bass drum is the 2 heads on the outside, as I hit it on this side, they're moving like this, and the shell is also moving. So the whole drum is actually resonating. When I hit this during setting up, the whole stage is actually vibrating from this drum. I'm going to give it a quick hit now. Hopefully the mics are on, but you'll hear what it does. And if you focus in on that head, you'll kind of see everything moving. Like the vibrations through the shell, through the lugs, through the floor, through my pedals. I can feel it coming back up through the seat. That's how cool single tension is. Now, these ones are pancake. Now, what people mean by pancake is short, really short. Now, this is actually a really short pancake snare drum. Look at that. It's like almost nothing there. I decided we'd put this snare drum with this kit, see what it sounded like. Now, as I said before, it has snare wires on it. Now, to be honest, I very rarely have had a snare wire on my rack tom, and I hit pretty hard. I'm using fairly light sticks, RegalTip sticks. I love these sticks. Very hard to get these days. And these are extra long ones. I think these are Chester Thompson signature sticks, actually. Very nice feel and weight. And I use these because my other favorite, or pet favorite stick, is Vic Firth SD1s, which are like a log, really. But I love these things. But I can't play them on something like this because I'll literally go through the heads really quick. So I'm using a lighter stick for you. But even with a lighter stick, when I'm hitting single tension drums, remember I said the shell and the head, everything is moving. But if we've got a wire suspended underneath, and you can see it down underneath this drum, if you jump down and look, you can see it here. The bottom head's actually flexing so much backwards and forwards that it's actually pinging that wire. So I've actually undone it over here. I've taken it off, you can see around here. Now, it's really quick to put on, so if you have a look in close, this is how easy they are to re-engage. You just slip it in there, pull the knot over the front, slip it in on this side. There's these little grooves. Oops. Yeah, hope you can see that. Knot over the front. Yeah. It's so easy, I'm doing it effortlessly. And it's back engaged, okay? Snare on. Now that's what it kind of sounds like. If we hit this, you'll hear the tone. All right. Now, it lends itself to something kind of more percussive. I'm not sure what you'd play, but something like... something where you get a little bit more rattle and buzz to it. But because I'm hitting hard when I've got the wires off, and you'll hear it, I'll take this off too. You'll hear it engaging. It's that little slap back. Jump underneath and have a look from right under here, and you can show me what's happening. I'll lift it up a bit for you. So that's why I'm just disengaging this one here, because I'm not used to playing it and I hit pretty hard. So I'm just going to drop it down. You'll see it lowering there. And that way you can get a nice hit out of that, and it's going to sound pretty cool. Now, let's have a look at this pancake snare. Super thin, brass. I've actually got prices and everything of these things here. So this is a 14 by 1.5 inch snare drum. 14 by 1.5. It's pretty tiny. As an open drum, it sounds really great. Very cool. See what the snare sound. That's pretty cool. It's got its own kind of sound going with it, which was why it sort of works really well here. This floor tom also, which looks like a 16 by maybe 4. Let me check. I'm so glad. Thanks, Mahogany Music, for putting all of these little tags on. It's helping me work out what the stuff is. 16 by roughly 4 copper. Now, this copper shell's probably a 0.8, maybe 1 mil. Very, very thin, like the thickness of your fingernail. Again, snare wires here. Here it is on. You can hear them engaged, and here it is off. That's, I've got things standing here like a cymbal. Sometimes I like to play a cymbal down here. Just because I do. That's why it's sitting there. So there's a little buzz there. That's the cymbal. Nice tone, actually. The shallow drum, a lot of people think that in order to get a very deep tone, you need a really deep drum. Now, that's partly true, but keep in mind, the more air you have inside a drum, when you strike it, the air has to travel all the way through, and it moves in a motion like this. So those cycles of waves, or sound waves, can actually be very long, and therefore that's not actually deep. I found, in my experiences, that shallow drums are actually deeper. This is actually probably one of my favorite size drums. This is a 22. Looks like about 8, maybe 10. I've got a 24 by 8. Absolute lowest drum. It's just a beautiful drum. Single tension, yet again. Fantastic sounding drums. So I like this shallow. Now this is very shallow, being pancake. So you start to get a little bit more top end coming in, which you can hear. Still got a lower tone. That's the snare mech here buzzing. Still got a low tone, but I'm kind of liking that. Now, I was telling you before about being able to tune really quick, and I would if I could find my drum key. Let me find the drum key. Here it is. Watch this, single tension. So let's go, oh, this is all this stuff on here, but I want to go lower. So I just literally tuning one side only. Now, it's a usable tone, isn't it? Mute that off. So I'm only tuning, and you notice there, for those who are watching carefully, I only actually tuned those 4 lugs. I left these 2. I didn't do that intentionally. I'm just tuning to sound rather than going, I have to tune evenly because evenly pulls it down even. That's all true, but it doesn't actually make much difference at this level here. So now I'm going to tune it up. Now, one of the techniques I use for tuning is really simple. Remember, I haven't tuned this one here. I hit it, I then detune it. About half a turn, I'm going to go another half, and another half. It's pretty low already. Now, I haven't adjusted anything else. That's a nice tone, but I might go, look, where's its optimal tone? I just start increasing it until it starts getting a little bit twangy. And then I back it off and bring it up again. Always bring it back up so the tension's under the lug. Same over here. What I'm listening for is it's optimal. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I could probably go quite a long ways up, but I don't need to. I'm actually very happy with that. The rattle is just this over here, this snare mechanism. So I might just engage one wire just to hold it from vibrating. But I'm still going to... it's still buzzing there a little bit. I apologize for that, but that's rock and roll. All right, so what's this kit sound like? Before I get into that, let's have a look over here. I've got this crazy drum, which is actually called a shotgun drum. Now, we'll pop the prices up. Remember, they're Australian dollars. Now, I could convert them all to American because a lot of our watchers are Americans, and thank you, America, for watching our stuff. Also, though, shout out to those in Europe who have been subscribing. Really appreciate your support. But it's important that you know what Australians are paying for gear. And so we'll put some Australian prices up. This is an 18-inch, I think it's by 3 actually, 4. 18 by 4-inch shotgun snare drum. Now, keep in mind, we've only got 4 microphones here and none of them are on this drum. The snare mic is here. We have a Royer sitting up here and another Royer back here and the floor mic there, and that's it. But let's see what this one sounds like. I'm going to turn it off first. Let's hear what it sounds like as a tom. Slightly higher pitched or tuned up a little bit compared to this one over here. Wires off. I'm going to take that cymbal away too. Sorry. Slightly higher, and I've had to lift it higher because I want the snares to engage. But you can use this as a percussive thing. I've got down here also this little minor shaker, cabasa, foot thing. Like this. So I could play something like... Let's hear the snares on it. Shotgun, kaboom. This is a Istanbul stacker. Should have said I'm actually playing Istanbul cymbals here today as well. I'll have a look at those in a minute. So this is the shotgun snare. Nice and fat. I'm going to bring this in. We're just going to play the kit a bit. Let's have a listen. Here's the snare. definitely low in fat. I've got it on my left here. It's a bit hard to pull it out, pull the sticks out. Generally, you know, on your left hand's your weakest. My left hand's okay, but I need a little bit more effort to pull that drum back out. You just kind of feel it sort of tying me down a little bit to it. So I'm going to play this full time. Let's get the snares on here. Pretty cool kit, huh? So what do I think about this? I really quite like it. It's different to play. It's not quite my sizes. I like big drums. I like a drum when I hit it, it's just keeps ringing for days. And normally that's a large size drum. Kind of love this bass drum, but it's a bit hard to control with my kick. You see, if I do a double kick, the head's moving a lot. It's coming backwards and forwards quite a lot, which I'm used to because I don't normally bury the beater. I try not to anyway. Now, if I was, this is what you'd hear. Kind of a buzz off that because it's trying to mute, but the head's moving. All in all, I actually love the feel of that kick drum. Big snare sound, big kick drum, big floor toms. That's the kind of sound I'm really loving. But this copper delivers on big tone. This thing is so small, I could literally stack it up on one seat of the car. And it's all very usable. Whatever you're playing, I'm not a jazz player, but you know. So obviously in jazz, you'd want to lift it up a bit in tune or pitch, and you probably can, easy on the tensioning on the tops. All in all, great kit. The copper gives a dark kind of a tone to it, and that's normally characteristic of most things, snares that are made in copper, has that darkness about it. All in all, great sounding kit. Awesome. All right, so next up, I think what we might do, we've got two mahoganies, these two, a red, and this is Deco Gold. That one is a 12, 14, looks like a 20. And over here, I think we've got, and it might be an 18, could be a 20. Again, let me have I'll check, let you know. This one has a 10 as well, and it's kind of got this cool looking system on the top as well. This one is all solid brass slugs, center point tension, solid brass slugs, center point tension. But this gold Deco one, it's actually got nickel over brass. Beautiful looking finish, beautiful looking finish. So I think what we might do is we'll divide and conquer. I reckon we're going to go gold, silver, and then over here to antique red. Back in a second. All right, so we've just come back. We've played the little copper kit. Sounded great, bass drum big and boomy. We've now got a mahogany kit in. This is our gold Duco with our beautiful nickel over brass chrome work. Let's hear how it sounds. Oh, I've got a snare here. This is a 14 by 8 A&F, and this is a mahogany snare as well in the club series, same as the kit. It's quite deep. It's tuned fairly high. Nice sounding drum. Let's see what it sounds like. right, so we're up to kit number 3. So remember, we've been through the copper single tension with wood hoops. Sounded great, nice big low end on the kick drum. We've also gone through mahogany, our gold deco kit. We've got one more mahogany kit over here, the red one to go. We've now got a raw aluminium. Now this shell's probably about 2.5 mil, something around that. Nice drums. I normally expect aluminium to be quite low, warm, kind of woody tone, really. This being a little thicker will probably raise the pitch a little bit. Nice deep bass drum. So I expect that to be nice and solid. We've got brass hoops, similar to our brass hoops over here on this kit. Single tension, same snare again. I'm running it as I did with the mahogany. I'll keep this snare. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to swap the snare out for the red one because I've got a matching red one here for that kit. But for now, we'll keep it here. Now, before I quickly go on, I just wanted to mention the cymbals that I'm using. Now, these are Istanbul, Agop, and these are actually Cindy Blackman's signature cymbals. This one here is a 22-inch with this dark kind of patinaed finish. It's quite a loose, nice playing cymbal, really quite fluid, actually. This one's an 18, same again. 18's a little bit small for me. I kind of want a lot bigger, so it kind of doesn't really do what I'm wanting. And here's this cool thing, which is like a hand clap over the side here. And so if you hear it, kind of does sound like a hand clap. And it's this thing here. It's called a clap stack. So clap stack, I don't know, Australia here says $571. You get 3 cymbals, 11 on the top, 13 and a 15. So I mean, that's really cool, just for some kind of an effect. Over here, I've actually got a flat ride. So this is an Agop as well, a 20-inch flat ride. That means no bell. If you look through there, there's no bell. Now, when there's no bell, you don't actually get sustain or build up. Here we've got a bell on this cymbal. You actually have the bell tone on the Cindy Blackman. And when I hit it, you'll hear it sustains for quite a long time because it's actually coming out of that bell and resonating. Now, with a flat ride or a flat cymbal, it's normally extremely thick, probably similar thickness, but extremely thick in the middle. And it's thick, and then it thins out. So it doesn't have as much, how would I say, sustain to it. But it's normally a great jazz cymbal. You see here, it'll be a staccato note, quite dry. And woody, not many overtones. I'm using it as a crash. Hear it there, so the edges are thin. This is thin on the edge. And as we go in, you hear it gets quite thick up in the middle bit here. So I'm using it as a bit of a crash, whereas if I crash this one, hear the difference. Here it's almost the same all the way through and then the bell sound, whereas here it changes sound as it's going up. So that's why I'm using that, just for something a bit different. Anyway, that's the cymbals. Now back to the A&F kit. Here's our aluminium, raw aluminium. See what it sounds like. Great sounding drums. Next, we've got our awesome antique red mahogany to finish off. See you in a minute. Hey guys, so we got the last kit set up. We started out, yes, over there with our copper. We've gone through our gold Deco mahogany, our aluminium raw, and now we're up to our antique red mahogany. This one has a 10. It's the first time we've deviated from a 12 to a 10. So we got 10, 12, 14. That looks like a 20. And here we've got a matching snare around here. If you jump around the side, check this out. Beautiful antique red. So that one is a 14 by 5.5, and that's actually steam bent maple shell. Steam bent, flat piece of timber, one piece of timber, scarf jointed, under steam, put into a circle, made into a drum. Beautiful piece of craftsmanship. This is what it sounds like, actually. Snares on. Nice buzz rolls on this stuff. Great piece of work. Thank you, A&F. Okay, so let's have a listen to this whole kit, hey? Here we go. Hey everybody, that's the beautiful A&F Drums. Thank you, Rami and the A&F team and all the family of A&F around the world who play in this awesome gear. Thank you for the privilege, Malulaba Music, to come in and share these drums with the world. Thank you, Istanbul Cymbals, Agop, Cindy Blackman Cymbals, Flat Ride, beautiful hats, this stack over here. Thanks for all the applause. Shout out to all the people online. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. We love making it, and we love hearing from you and all the comments and things like that. That's awesome. This is Killer Drums TV. This segment has been called Gear, Gear, Gear. My name is Tony Moore, and we will catch you on the next one.